Yep. Welcome back. This is a belief that I had, and I was pretty confident in it, and then I found out that I was probably wrong.
Full of shit. This is the segment where I share shitty thoughts with shitty production value and then for some other reason, Full of Shit is a good title. Full of shit.
I used to be a moral absolutist. I believed that to any moral question, there was an objectively correct answer. If you're specific enough about the circumstances, about who would lose, what they would lose, who would win, there would be a yes or no, whether that thing is right, based on the probability of harm done. Ooh, I got lightheaded. For instance, a kid robs a pharmacy in order to get drugs for his grandmother. Is that okay or not okay? Well, let's say that I specify that he's already in a poor financial situation. He's on his way to the pharmacy. He gets robbed. If he's in a poor situation, he might be from in a poor neighborhood. And in a poor neighborhood, you might see more likely a petty crime like that. So, gets robbed. The pharmacist, it is insured for him, and his grandmother is going to die if she misses another dose. Based on the information we have, I think we could calculate, okay, yes, that's okay. So that was my thinking at the time. But then I took a class. The teacher was a moral absolutist. And I was right there. I was like, yeah, man. But his reasoning actually started to kind of disappoint me. Oh shit, did I just break my shit? He said that science has shown there is absolute beauty because studies have shown that most men agree on what hip to waist ratio, what kind of symmetry in the face, what kind of proportions of. But I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make it absolute. That just means that most men agree. But for another species, that's not going to be the same thing. Or if you didn't take a universal most, if you were to take it culture by culture, you might find things that are different. Like they say about the Eskimos, how they find beefier women more attractive. Or in the black community versus the white community, whether you want them thin as a rail or nice and chunky. Got me thinking that no, actually morality depends on our interests and on the information that we have. If we find out that the mother isn't going to die and this theft is going to make it so that the pharmacist has to close down his pharmacy, then okay, we might find that it's immoral. And so our answer is not independent, of course, of the information that we have. But our goal, what we want to achieve with this moral decision, by what measure are we determining the morality of something? Oh, come on, I don't want to give up. All right, look, let's just get back to what we were talking about. So it depends on our goals / interests. And that is not something that we can objectively find. In TV shows, for instance, when you're dealing with eliminating a portion of the population so that everybody else doesn't die of starvation. So what do? Let's take one city of 5 million people, right? One goal or interest is we want the most people to live regardless of their state of living. The argument that we should not kill 250,000 people so that the 4,750,000 live good lives. That would kind of be in line with this goal that I'm talking about. We want the most people to live regardless of their state of living. Or it might be the ultimate utility. Maybe life, it doesn't matter. We just measure the utility of those who live. So for instance, in that case, you might say, well, let's kill the 250,000. Unless then, of course, you might consider those family members would be sad. So even though they may have a good quality of living in terms of, you cannot objectively determine which approach is best. It actually just depends on which one pleases you. I feel like I'm so close. We'll do a video where we treat this properly. But I needed to give you a full of shit video. Essentially, I realized without the information of what makes us happy and makes us sad, a computer cannot figure out morality. Subscribe. So basically, what I was saying was, I gotta focus. It's actually literally so close to the surface of the water, but I don't want to truncate. I want this to be a nice, solid, consistent line of. Oh, it feels so good. I feel lightheaded.